finally done the work no one in higher castes will touch. They handle dead bodies. They clean human waste. They sweep, they bury, they carry. As one Dalit man told the cameras, people will not stand or walk next to us. In the villages of the prostitution communities we saw earlier, children of low-caste sex workers cannot even register at birth because Indian paperwork demands the father's name and clients leave none. But the picture is not only dark. India's constitution reserves around 22.5% of all government jobs and university seats for Dalits and other historically oppressed groups. From 2017 to 2022, the President of India, the head of state, was a Dalit. His name was Ram Nath Kovind. And in the same villages where parents work as sex workers, teachers like Guru Nagar, who taught himself to read and write, are now educating the next generation. One of his students, the daughter of a sex worker, told the camera what she wanted to be when she grew up: an air hostess. In Varanasi, on the banks of the Ganges, you may notice a small group of figures standing apart from the pilgrims. They are barely clothed. Their bodies and faces are smeared in gray ash, taken from cremation pyres. They are called Aghori, and they are one of the very few sects on earth that openly practice cannibalism. Aghori believes nothing in the universe is impure. Everything, even death, even decay, even taboo, is part of the divine. To prove this, they live among the dead. Their goal is to dissolve the ego by erasing every line their culture taught them to draw between sacred and disgusting. The sect grew out of an older tradition called Kapalika, a form of tantric Shaivism dating to the 4th or 8th century of the Common Era. Today, only several thousand followers remain across all of India, mostly clustered around Varanasi. The Aghori are an extreme, fringe sect. They do not represent Hinduism, which is followed by more than 1 billion peaceful people. But they do represent something honest about India. There is no single rule. There is room here for the holy and for the very, very strange. Hinduism is not really one religion. It is a family of beliefs under a single name. Ancient Vedic texts speak of 33 crore deities, which works out to 330 million divine beings, though scholars now believe the original word koti meant categories, not individuals. Either way, in the Hindu world, divinity is everywhere. What Westerners often miss is that Hinduism is not really polytheism. It is what scholars call henotheism. Every deity, in theory, is a different face of one ultimate reality called Brahman. Many faces, one truth. Once a year in southern India, that devotion takes a form most foreigners cannot watch without gasping. The festival is called Taipusam. Researchers at Stanford found that during the trance, the brain releases endorphins at levels up to 600% above normal. The mind builds
What?
its own anesthesia out of pure faith. Every November, the city of Delhi, home to more than 30 million people, disappears. Not under fog, but under smoke. In 2025, Delhi did not record a single good air day for the entire year. On the worst nights of winter, the air quality index has crossed 500, the maximum reading on the scale. You may have heard that breathing Delhi air is like smoking 50 cigarettes a day. The truth is more nuanced. On an average day, the equivalent is closer to 2 or 3 cigarettes. But on the worst winter mornings, when the air quality index passes 450, the comparison is real. In November 2024, one Delhi reading hit 491. Researchers at the University of Chicago calculated that if Delhi simply met World Health Organization air standards, the average resident would gain almost 8.5 years of life. The worst pollution penalty on the planet. Where does the smoke come from? Cars and factories play their part, but the spike has another origin. Every October and November, farmers in Punjab and Haryana set fire to the leftover stubble in their rice fields
to clear the soil for the next crop. They burn because a government law shifted the rice planting season later, leaving no time to clear by hand. The wind carries that smoke straight to Delhi. Off the coast of India, in the Andaman Sea, lies an island so isolated that no outsider has ever truly set foot on it and lived to tell the story. It is called North Sentinel Island. The Sentinelese people are
Nothing much,
believed to
family.
have
Can you do
lived
me a
there for
favor and
up to
check my Twitch
55,000
and
years, with
YouTube
no
and
meaningful
confirm
contact
if
with
I'm
the rest
streaming
of
or not?
humanity. Their language is unrelated to any other on
Wait a
Earth.
second.
They greet visitors with
Yeah, I
bows
got you,
and
bro.
arrows.
You said Twitch
In
and
2004, when the
YouTube.
Indian Ocean
wait.
tsunami killed more than
You don't have to do that. I
200,000
heard you.
people across 14 countries, the Sentinelese survived. They had moved to higher ground before the wave even arrived,
Stop.
possibly by reading the behavior of birds and the sea itself. The Indian government has banned all visits within 3 nautical miles of their
You
coast.
said Twitch.
Hundreds of miles away in southern India sits another fact you cannot make up. It is called the Battle of Pikakala.
Okay.
In the
No, I
village
said
of
Twitch and
Kairupala,
YouTube.
on the day after the festival of
Twitch and YouTube.
Ugadi, locals divide into 2 teams and throw chunks of fresh cow dung at each other for hours. Locals believe the cuts heal in 3 days and that participating brings divine blessings. And in the cities, the strangest jobs you can imagine are also real. India is home to roughly 15,000 wedding detectives, professionals hired by families to dig into a future bride or groom's history before the arranged marriage is signed. The industry is worth around $50 million a year. They have, on more than one occasion, exposed husbands with 3 families in 3 different
Wait a
cities.
second.
The next 2 facts will completely change your view of this nation.
Pass the next time.
On the 23rd of August, 2023, India became the first country in human history to land a spacecraft near the south pole of the moon. The mission was called Chandrayaan 3. The total cost, according to the Indian Space
Yeah, I
Research
see it.
Organization, was roughly 75
It is gone.
million US dollars. That is less than the budget of the Hollywood film Interstellar.
It looks like it's
India
frozen.
reached the lunar surface for the price of a movie. This is the part of India the Western viewer rarely sees. The country's information technology industry in the financial year